When I was in law school, proudly for Holloway, proudly for your dad, first African-American state senator in the state of Delaware. Everything about. And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap. And I tell you what, the men, they're now all men, the guys I work with down here, and they're all guys at the time, they're all good men. Most of them made an awful lot of themselves. And Earl Larkin had a rough time. And some of you knew Earl. I came back as a public defender.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
That's my president, man. That's my president. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Man Cave. We are Ryan and Corey. You listen to the Much About Nothing podcast, show where we give expert takes and good-hearted debates. We talk ball and anything and everything else. Today, we're gonna be talking about Tucker Carlson, Don Lemon abruptly being released from their positions. If you got something to say, please put it in the comments. If you're new to the pod, greetings. Hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications. Smash that bell, hit the like button. If you're already a part of the fam, welcome back. Please hit the like button and share and comment. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Let's get into it.
Hey, for the intro, I just want to shout out to Joe Biden. He's going tomorrow to announce his presidential bid, where we are get to see other delightful situations like you just saw earlier. We'll get to witness another round, another year of them dragging his old carcass from state to state to stand before people and say some of the most outlandish stuff in the world. And people to pretend this man is okay.
Man, and look here, man. So what you trying to say? You trying to say Joe passed his prime? That's what got Don Lemon.
You don't say that. You won't say that. Hey, let's start this thing out to say about Don Lemon. Don Lemon was fine.
Hold up, man.
Right,
you know, we got to shout out
to the comments.
Shout out to the people. We in here early, man. What's happening, Tiff? What's happening, Kev? What's happening, Mr. and Mrs. Hampton? I appreciate y'all. And look, I forgot something. The other day I gave a birthday shout out to my brother. I forgot to give a birthday shout out to Var. Happy birthday, Var. Charge it to my mind and not to my heart. We love you. All right, now let's get back into Don Lemon being fired. What you got?
Yeah, but so Don Lemon was fired for Nikki Haley comments. These are the comments right here. Check them out.
Talk about age makes me uncomfortable. I think it's the wrong road to go down. She says people, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What are you talking? Wait.
That's not according to me.
Prime for what?
It depends. I mean, it's just like prime. If you look it up, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s. I don't necessarily.
40s. So I got another.
I'm not saying
decade.
I agree with that. So I think she has to be careful about saying that politicians aren't in their prime.
You need to qualify. Are you talking about prime for like childbearing, or are you talking about prime for being president?
What the facts are. Google it. Everybody at home. When is a woman in her prime? It says 20s, 30s, and 40s.
I hope my media guy has the same type of stuff for Tucker Carlson when we get to Tucker Carlson. Because that right there happened months ago. That was in February.
You don't think that was it?
No, that's not it. You don't get fired for things months ago.
Nah, what's name didn't ever make comments or nothing like that. I could have pulled up several of the, but at the end of the day, most of the Dominion jumps was long jumps, so I was going to read out exactly what happened. all his particular situations that's going on with Fox News. At the end of the day, I don't like either one of them, and I made that statement very, very clear from the start that you have never heard me say I like Tucker Carlson.
Okay.
Or Don Lemon, or CNN, or Fox News.
So just a little disclaimer for you, those who do not know. Don is the figurehead over there right now for CNN, and Tucker is the figurehead over there at Fox.
It's amazing they got fired at the same time, man.
I think it's quite funny, and I believe that one was probably in response to the other one. And this doesn't do anything but help the people, I think. I think getting rid of two inflammatory people probably helps. I do like Don Lemon, even though I think that he's a vampire. This guy looks the exact same from when he came on the air the first time I saw him to how he looks right now. So I'm pretty sure he's part vampire. As far as what caused him to get fired, now, if I had only looked at Twitter, I probably would have got up here and I would have had a totally different take on why I think he got fired. So I thought, just by listening to Jamel Hill, one of my favorite follows on social media, that, and it very well may have been the nail in the coffin with him. What's the gentleman's name that's escaping me right now? What was the one we discussed earlier? Who he was having on the show a couple days ago?
Man.
From the NRA. Anyway,
that's crazy.
From the head of the NRA.
He's running for president, but his argument was based in the fact of saying, because at the end of the day, CNN always is attacking the Second Amendment, and his defense was the Second Amendment won't only for white people, but for black people too. Just as much as a white person can own a gun, a black person can own a gun too. Most people.
Yeah. So really, I mean, Don Lemon was making some very interesting points about the fact that you cannot tell him what it is to be a black man because he has experienced the black experience every day. Therefore, he wasn't the subject matter expert in the case. And at one point, you could hear Don Lemon telling the people in the production company, that they needed to get out of his earpiece because he couldn't even hear what the guy was saying. He couldn't even hear what the guy was saying because they were trying to back him down off the cliff that he was going on. And eventually, he died on that hill. And so, I was like, man, that's terrible that he lost his job that way. Then when I started doing the research, I realized that he puts his foot in his mouth a whole lot, and he's had a lot of
retractions is the best word, I think.
Yeah, he's had a lot of retractions. He's had a lot of incidents where he's said things that he shouldn't say to women. He's had things that are under the NDAs that have been settled over the course of this 17 years. This guy has been a problem for quite some time. He's been a problem for quite some time. So, yeah, I do believe that he is educated. I do believe that he is smart. I do believe he is articulate. I do believe he will land someplace else. But, yeah.
I got the clip, though. I'm gonna run through it right quick.
Yeah.
See what one has to do with the other, especially consider and using the Civil War to talk about black Americans. That war was not fought for black people to have guns. That's not.
That war was fought for black people to have freedoms in this country. Yeah. Actually, that's why the Civil War was fought.
Okay.
And the sad part about it.
That wasn't fought for black people to have guns, I think.
Actually, you know, funny fact is, black people did not get to enjoy the other freedoms until their Second Amendment rights were secured. And I think that's one of the lessons that we learned.
Aren't allowed to enjoy the freedoms.
I disagree with you on that, Don. I disagree with you. And I think you're doing a disservice to our country by failing to recognize the fact that we have equality before the law.
When you are in black skin and you live in this country, then you can disagree with me. But we're not. You mentioned in here that we have three different shades of melanin.
Don, I think we have to be able to talk about these issues in the open, regardless of the color of our skin. Black Americans today, to say that, compare that to 1865 and 1964,
I think for you to compare it to 1865 and 1964 is actually.
So I get what you're saying, but I think the mistake in his argument is always what I always say. He appealed to the law of authority. At the end of the day, appealing to that is a fallacy. It's a very, very common fallacy, and I'm pretty sure the people in the air would tell him that when you say you don't have the right to make this argument instead of challenging the argument, because what if I could be black and I make that argument? You want to get a black person up here, he could say that he has the right to say it because he could say the exact same thing just because he's black. Then you got to challenge the argument. So challenge the argument. Just substitute the person out and challenge the arguments he's making. At the end of the day, the man was saying that the war was fought for black rights. At the end of the day, black people did not have these rights. And after the war was fought, black people secured the right to own a firearm just like everybody else. Black people couldn't own a firearm prior. Now, you can go down to the what's name and get you a firearm likewise, just as much as any other human being in this world. Unless you know what I'm saying, you got some problems going on. Don't go get no firearm, man.
I'm gonna say
We're not
this,
pushing that.
and again, without, and I hope nobody takes this literally,
Mhm.
but to presume, just in the case that if my puppy could talk, and me and my puppy could have a conversation, I could make presumptions about the state of being a puppy. But if that puppy told me it was not how it is to be a puppy, I would have to presume that he was correct because he has more experience being a puppy than I do.
Mhm.
And so, in the situation, it's not an authority argument. It's the fact that how you gonna tell me? You know, that's really what the argument was. How you gonna tell me? Like I do this every day. Like you know, it's in this world, the authority that you talk about, you know, we understand it, we see it, and a lot of times we just we don't take it into consideration because in this world you're allowed to question anybody. The fact of the matter is, if you don't want to use the puppy argument, you can use LeBron James. Like you can question LeBron James, or you can question you can question any of these guys. And yeah, sure, played a little bit of basketball, but I do not play on the professional level. Therefore, I do not understand the things on the professional level that LeBron James has. So there are some things that I have to say, you know what? Maybe he knows more than I do in this situation. Maybe the way that I'm viewing it is something differently than the way it is, the way he's doing it, even though I'm observing it.
That's not what I'm disagreeing at all. I'm saying if you told LeBron James you should dribble the ball this way, LeBron James can say you're wrong. I'm not saying LeBron James can't stand up and say you don't know nothing about basketball. He's attacking your position to even say it, to give your opinion. He's attacking it. He's saying you don't have the right because you're not this. That's what I'm saying. Saying I do a favor and look up fallacy and appeal to authority, and that would every single way. I'm telling you, if you write that in any paper, I'm pretty sure y'all went to college. Y'all put that in a paper, you will get an F. That is a fallacy. To say it must be truth, it's attacking truth. At the end of the day, if I black this screen out, you have to take my arguments. It does not matter who I am. If I mask my voice and take this screen out, you don't know who's saying these arguments. So you have to attack the argument. Why does it matter? Even what I'm saying is true or not. If I sat here and smoking a cigarette and I said cigarettes are bad for you, you can say that's a hypocrite. Look at that guy right there. But that doesn't necessarily mean cigarettes are good for you. At the end of the day, cigarettes are bad for you, and that is truth. It doesn't matter who I am or what I do. Truth is truth. Truth will stand on its own. So if that man makes an argument, no matter who he is or what he has done, you have to attack his arguments. Don't attack the person. Attack the argument. At the end of the day, yeah.
Corey, you spot on. I do have an exercise for you. Hopefully, you can do this exercise with me. I want us to do a thought experiment where we picture 100 people in a large room. Okay? 100 people in a large room. Let's say that 87 of them have on purple shirts. And let's say 13 of them have on orange shirts. You still follow me on this experiment?
Yeah.
And let's say the 87 decide to mistreat the 13. All right? And say that 87 have been mistreating the 13 for quite some time. Now let's just say, you know what? We'll give all of you the ability to get guns. Please tell me how that benefits the 13 people. And if you can really do that thought experiment, you'll understand why Don Lemon is saying that don't even make sense. They're giving black people the Second Amendment right, help them get rights. It don't make sense. It's a foolish argument. It is a very foolish argument. Like there's so many other things that we can attribute to the second
So
Second
we're
Amendment.
moving on to the first from the first point because I want to make sure my first point was established. What I'm saying is his appeal to authority. That's what the man was attacking. Now you want to attack the argument overall that the man was making. Now we can attack the argument that the man was making, but I want to say my first argument is at the end of the day, regardless who that man is, he's making an argument. Challenge that, not the man.
Mhm.
If his arguments are faulty, then they won't stand. You could defeat those, but don't attack the man because you can't defeat his argument.
Okay. So
That's most likely what a person do when they can't challenge the argument. They say that you don't got the right to make it. To make
yeah,
it fair
I
game.
just I think that I think Don Lemon did get flustered, but back to
Yeah.
what I am saying, the actual statement that he made that he got so flustered over is because it was really a ludicrous statement, and I
So
think
you
he
don't
will
think
agree.
black people during the Civil War? Because at one time, when did black people get the right to
He's
own a
talking about
gun?
no, we're talking about the Second Amendment right.
Second Amendment. When did black people gain the right for the Second Amendment?
I don't have it in front of me, but hold on. Quick question now. That the question I just asked you, the exercise I asked you, when you look at it that way, can you understand how that would not make any sense whatsoever?
Mhm.
Because African Americans are 13% of the population,
Mhm.
right?
I don't think
So,
he was debating the reasoning. though.
But what I'm saying is the logic of giving everybody Second Amendment rights is how black people started getting civil rights. It's out of control.
That's not what he was saying. What he's saying that Civil War was fought for black people to gain rights. One of those rights happened to be the Second Amendment rights. He's not saying why they got it for. He's saying that at the end of the day, we fought for black people to have rights. In doing so, they gained the right to the Second Amendment. Hey, baby. All right, I love you. Bye bye. Yeah. So black people happen to gain the Second Amendment. Unless you believe today, black people don't have the Second Amendment right. Because when they were slaves before the Civil War, black people did not have the right to own a gun. Now we do. Unless you don't think people today, a black person today can purchase a gun. So in the end, what he's saying is the Civil War was fought for black people to have rights. There, at the end of the Civil War, black people got the Second Amendment. Now they have that today. So essentially the Civil War was fought for black people to get the Second Amendment. He's not debating what they could do with it. None of that. He's saying they earned that right after the Civil War. After we won the Civil War, that was afforded to black people. That's what he's saying, essentially. And unless you debating that black people don't got the Second Amendment rights right now, and they did then, I don't know. You don't think black people can purchase guns?
I didn't say that.
All right. So could they purchase guns before the Civil War?
I don't know if they could buy a musket or not. I don't know.
Could a black person carry a gun before the Civil War?
I don't know.
Could a black person carry a gun before the Civil War?
I don't know. Pretty much everything was illegal to be black. Matter of fact, being black itself was illegal. So
That's the point he's making. That's the exact point he's making.
Was illegal. So
he's saying, yeah, I agree. That's the exact point he's making. Civil War was fought for black people to be afforded rights. They happened to gain the Second Amendment after the Civil War was won. That's all he's making. Don Lemon is trying to saying that ain't true. He's not saying that the war was fought for black people to get the Second Amendment. He's saying it was fought for black people to gain the same rights as everybody else. Second Amendment happened to be one of those rights. And I don't see how that is fake news. I don't see how it's fake.
Okay.
All
like
right. Tell me how it's fake. I'm saying Tiff in the comments put it. Tell me how it's fake.
All I said was I made the point. I guess we're not going to cover that. I said if you put 87, please tell me how the orange are advantaged by everybody getting the right to carry a gun. That's my question. And if you can't give me an answer to it, then we can move on to the next one. It is It's not advantageous. It's not advantageous for the 13% to be able to carry guns when 87% have guns. It's not advantageous.
Oh, so what you're saying is we shouldn't have. It wasn't advantageous for us to be free but we're free. Like at the end of the day, you saying at the end of the day, it had to be advantageous for the 87 for us to get any rights.
No, what I'm saying to you is,
All
like
right.
him telling Don Lemon as if the Second Amendment was a luxury allotted. No, it was more inclusion. It was more inclusion. However, there's no benefit to it. It's not even worth even talking about. There's no benefit to it. Like there was no benefit, and I think that's what Don was getting frustrated with trying to explain. Nonetheless, he got fired. The world is
Let me
probably
ask you another question. I
yeah.
want to pose this question, right? Black people being in the NBA, right? It was a point of time black people was not in the NBA. Why did white people allow black people in the NBA?
Because everything is about winning. And I guess the idea that we probably could get more fans if people didn't dribble like this.
Yeah, it's a profit.
The people
Was
didn't dribble
that?
like this, I
But
don't know.
black people being allowed in the NBA was it advantageous towards black people?
Say what? It was advantageous
Was
to
it
the
was it
owners.
was
It was
it?
it was
I
advantageous to
agree
the owners.
that I agree. But I'm asking, was it advantageous for black people?
Oh, what's up, fam? What's up, LT? You said was it advantageous?
For black people.
Yes, sure,
So two things can be accurate at the same time.
yes. Two things can be
So
accurate at the same
the
time.
Civil War could have been fought for one thing, but also gain an advantage for somebody else too, right? If
Yeah,
two things could be working at once. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I
I'm
definitely
saying even
understand.
if you disagree why the Civil War was fought, you have to agree that black people did gain rights because of the Civil War. You can't because at
Yeah,
one time we didn't have it. After the Civil War, we did have. So
yes.
black folk, all right, we can disagree on why, but we got to say that the Civil Wars did gain black people rights to do certain things because we didn't have those at one point. That's all I'm saying.
Thank
We
God
can
for this.
agree and quiet. I'm not
No,
even getting
I
down
mean
there,
you're
but
right, man.
yeah,
Thoughts
that's
and
all I'm
prayers.
saying.
Thoughts and prayers to the people that lost the Civil War. All right, now what's going to the next one, man?
All right, the next one is Tucker Carlson, and I got that thing to read out because it was just tough, man. It's tough to find that. But all right, give me your thoughts first while I find a specific thing.
Oh my goodness. Huh. So my opinion, Tucker Carlson. I think that Tucker Carlson is an extremely smart guy, and I think that he manipulates his platform. Um, he manipulates his platform to create a following of people that follow his inflammatory things, when he could use his talents for great, but he doesn't. He uses his talents for something else. That's what I think about Carson. I think he enjoys being that pundit on TV, even if he doesn't agree that it's right, or maybe he does. I don't know. I'm not a fan of the guy.
I'm not neither. My problem with Carlson is most of my problems with any CNN and Fox News. See, and this is the disagreement with subjectivity and objectivity. Don Lemon had a phrase one time when he said "my truth."
Mm.
If I told you this is my truth, at the end of the
Okay.
day, truth is truth.
No,
Truth is just truth.
no, I can respect
My
that.
truth is your opinion. It's
No,
not a truth.
I can respect that. If someone opens something and says, "This is my truth. This is the way that I interpret, the way I experience it, the way
Yeah.
like I think that that's a genuinely honest statement.
Not debating that. But
It's
is
a
it an
way of saying
opinion?
it's my yeah, it's an opinion.
It's, yeah, it's an
It's
opinion. That's
it's
all
an
I was saying
opinion.
essentially. I won't
Yeah,
argue that he didn't
yeah,
say it.
yeah. I
I'm
think
saying,
it's
but the problem is this that Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson hold the title as journalists.
mhm.
Journalists are supposed to be objectivity. If he got up there and had a podcast like we have right now, at the end of the day, I'm not saying I'm a journalist. These are my opinions. I'm not putting my opinions out as facts. The problem is this objectivity is this me saying, and I said this earlier, Mount Everest is the tallest peak in the world. It's 2,998 feet. That can be measured. The Earth is the third planet from the sun. That can be measured. These are object statements. Now, me saying what I just said It's objectivity. That I just said that. Now you're saying you're getting an opinion on what I said is an opinion. Now you pose what I said as fact. Your opinion as fact is wrong. That's the reason why I disagree with both Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon. In several instances, I see it all the time. And that's where fake news was coined. Now, a lot of people gravitated to that saying because they started looking at what was actually said and what the news media was put out. And I would say majority of news media, probably 90% of them, 90 to 99%. Somewhere it's a lot of, I don't really trust no news media. At the end of the day, if I do not look into it for myself, at the end of the day, I don't trust it. I don't trust it. Like any statements that say when they show a clip, I take it, you know what I'm saying? I'm not taking it as necessarily truth. Hopefully when I make it, I say this what they said on here. But at the end of the day, unless I see the whole entire thing, I don't know what to make of it. In today's media, it's easy to twist it. Even Bernie Sanders, and I was taught this by Bernie. Bernie opposed this in media. He tried to put limitations on media, which I agree with him. He said most news media understands how to control people. And Adolf Hitler said, if you control the media, you control the masses. It's certain things that give a connotative feeling to a person, like red. The color red, all throughout your life, you have associated red with stop danger. When we see those signs, there's a reason why they make all red signs, danger, fire signs, and all of these things. Even the bottom of that net being red. These are, that color red gives you a typical kind of feeling. So when they put things out in red letters, it make you feel a certain kind of way in media. They put it out in green letters, it make you feel a certain kind of way in media. Bernie Sanders, you look at it, he went before Congress, he laid it all out. It's very, very beautiful the way he did it, even though I don't agree with Bernie. But at the end of the day, anybody, what he said was, I agree with that. That news media is very, very influential, and they swing either kind of way. They try to put their point across. But that's why I don't agree with Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson. But what I wanted to say, I had to figure. Got a call talking.
Well, I know you was gonna put the video up, but I want to say because Tip keeps bringing up this lawsuit.
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
That's what I was about to talk about. I got it now. I told you I couldn't get the lawsuit up there because all of them was too long. They're very, very long. But y'all can look up there. But essentially, you want to talk about?
Go ahead. You can talk about the lawsuit. No, go ahead.
So the announcement came after this is Tucker Carlson's firing. The announcement came days after Fox News parent company settled Dominion Voting Systems Defamation lawsuit for $787.5 million. The company's hosts were not required to talk about the lawsuit or make an apology for it as part of the settlement. CNBC previously reported. Fox News Media and Tucker Carlson have agreed to part ways. The company said in a statement Monday, we thank him for his services to the network as a host and prior to that as a contributor. So basically, they got sued. Tucker Carlson, I think Tucker Carlson made about $77.5 million a year for Fox News. And he cost them $787. And he was caught out with his pants down because most of the stuff he was putting out on the network, they found evidence that he didn't believe this stuff to be true itself.
And that's what I was saying with my initial standpoint.
Yeah.
So to answer the question, and what exactly did he do? All right, so he was perpetuating the narrative that the Dominion machines were cheating, were affecting the election, and essentially helping the Democrats to win. So, all right, it's almost like old boy with the Sandy Hook thing, InfoWars. All right, so what ends up happening is they're pushing this narrative, and in order to get views, he's pushing the narrative that, you know what, the other side doesn't want you to know. The other side doesn't want you to know, but those machines that Dominion has, they're manipulating this and this, that, and the third. He's telling these lies, and he's gaining viewership. The viewership in return is making him more money, so he's getting more side because he's the most watched show on Fox News. So he's making money, and then eventually they sued him for him knowingly putting out false information. Now,
But can I ask you a question though?
yeah,
Do you think elections can be manipulated by voting?
by the machines,
By the
absolutely
machines?
not. I
Yeah.
absolutely
I
not.
thought you would have said I could have swore we had a conversation with that. Because
Absolutely not.
I'm of the nature. It's so hard. People don't understand how hard it is to mess like elections. These are won by like a lot of votes, man. 100,000 votes is hard to swing. And 100,000 votes in like 5 different states. And to
Yeah.
know that you're gonna cheat in, how you know it's gonna be that close? It's very, very difficult.
You
It's
know
very,
what?
very difficult.
This
It's
right here,
it'll
this
be
right here
easier to
is
swing people and try to make them not go vote.
yeah. I think yeah. I think this right here is I think this is monumental. Not him being fired. He's just another guy. He's another guy manipulating people who are less smart than him by putting out things that are inflammatory that people will listen to. He's a regular smuggler,
Would
snake
you
oil
agree that
salesman.
both sides do it though, right?
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, but we're talking about Tucker here.
All right.
Like this right here is nothing.
Yeah.
There'll be somebody else to replace him. Um, we'll be saying, "What's his name? That guy." That's what he'll
The
be in
question
the
is
future.
though, he was putting
But
out these statements and he didn't believe them. Who was making them put out these statements then?
okay, no, he was doing it again because he's
So he was just
manipulating.
doing it on
The
his own.
whole side
So you
is
don't think Fox
manipulation.
News wanted
He's
them put out?
here goes the thing. This is what I'm gonna say to you. This is what I'm gonna say to you. The reason why I say this is monumental is because 787 million is enough to make people understand you can't play this game. So this lawsuit right here hopefully puts some more integrity back into the media because we need integrity when it comes to the news. This is not an entertainment station. Entertainment, you can do whatever you want to do. When it comes to the news, it's extremely dangerous when you spread things like this to make people question the integrity of the actual voting process. And he did that and he made millions off of it. And Fox had the ability to stop him from doing it, and they did it. They rode that wave, counted those coins, and it got hit in the pockets. Good job. Because you know what happens with some places, Corey? And you can
What?
tell me if you agree with this or not. Some places will identify what the fine is and question whether or not is it worth it to continue doing this if the fine isn't big enough, bigger than the profits you would make by not following the thing that you will get fined for. Companies will say, "I will do it, and I will pay the fine later." And
I
this right
think it's
here is enough money to make them think twice about doing that going forward. Bravo for the
I
lawsuit.
think it was more along the lines of did you see where oh boy the point guard for the Lakers, D'Angelo Russell did with the bottle?
What about it? I don't remember. I don't
So
remember.
he put his bottle out there, even though it was not a partner with the NBA, and he did it for advertising.
Hmm.
And he agreed that it was worth paying the fine
Hmm.
to advertise his bottle. So he made a choice. And it's
Yeah,
most like everybody else. They're going to look at the fine and see is it worth paying the fine or worth putting out something. So at
yeah.
the end
I
of the
mean,
day, everybody has choices. So I think it's the same
the
thing
and
as
I
that.
don't know if the numbers are as true as they said. I want you to think about the legend that Michael Jordan is and his shoes and the black and red the bread colorway, the band ones, the black and
Or the
red ones.
bread. Yeah, the bread. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and Nike thought it was a good way of marketing to pay the fines by allowing him to wear the black and red shoes, even though they were banned. They were saying, Jordan, keep wearing the shoes. We'll pay the fine
Hmm.
because the fine was not big enough to make them say we need to follow the rules.
But
And
what I
that's
want to say is this is I want to put out this joint right here. Proverbs 22:1. A good name is more desirable than great riches. To be esteemed is better than silver and gold. At the end of the day, those people lost track of who they were, and they would rather get money than put out truth.
mm,
And that's my overall problem with media today. Most media, mostly all media. Reason why I don't look at most news, and I learned that I was able to whenever news story come out, right? You turn on CNN, you turn on Fox News. Both of them take the same news story and they push their agenda. They're going to push forward their agenda to swing the masses. At the end of the day, their ultimate goal is to pit everybody against each other, because at the end of the day, the truth is, if there was no violence and there was nothing up there newsworthy, they would not make money. So at the end of the day, if it's not no news, you got to make news. Because how else you going to make money?
Yeah.
That's the facts. If it's no news, how am I make money if it's no news? It's just that, and I agree with like war. It's the same thing with war. If the most governments and most nations will make money off war, the easiest way to make money is off war. So certain nations start conflicts to make money. It's just the easiest way to make money is war.
Yeah, and I mean, and especially this is what bothers me about, and I'm not talking about CNN. I'm just gonna talk about Fox. This right here. It's a free news channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, anytime something is free, then more than likely, you are the product. Like, and that's something to think about. If it's free, that means you are the product. That means that they're selling you, which means they're selling you the customer to the to the advertising companies, saying that I got this amount of people that will watch this show. Pay me this amount of advertising dollars. This and the third. You are the product, and in this situation, the fact that Fox News knowingly knew that this was not the truth, they realized that they have an audience that watch them that aren't smart enough to understand that it's not the truth, and they kept pushing this narrative to the point where it cost them almost $1 billion.
And like I said,
It's fair.
equally, you said this is your problem with Fox News, right? Do you think CNN does the same thing?
When they get sued for $787 billion,
They've been sued too. You don't think CNN haven't been sued?
I'm just saying, when they get sued for $787 billion, then let me know, and I'm gonna say the exact same.
I know they got sued for a lot of money.
I'm gonna say the exact same thing. When you're lying to the people,
you remember the boy with the
make
America Head Again boy, that they made him to look like a racist. You remember CNN got sued for that, and that boy got like millions because of that.
I missed that story.
All right, that's what I'm saying, because you don't look at negative things about CNN, brother. You gotta understand.
I'm not a proponent.
That's what I'm saying. Both put out net.
Yeah.
Both do the same thing. They do that.
I definitely agree.
Neither one is greater than the other. At the end of the day, they both out here perpetually. What if I said Fox News actually was saying bad things about Rudy Giuliani that happened to not be true? And I don't like Rudy neither, and I'm pretty sure you don't like Rudy. You ain't got no problem with them saying bad things about him that would last, do you?
Listen, man, how I feel about it is, I feel like eventually in the future, I think they all will die. I think all of these companies, the smarter human beings.
Oh, Mr. K, there you go. Boy, put that junk out there. Boy, you faster than lightning right there. 437 million. CNN sued on December 3rd of 2019.
Oh, good catch, Kevin. The exact same thing that I said for Fox goes for CNN. Like I said, I'm not rocking with either of them. And I think that they're dinosaurs. I think that these companies.
Nick Salmon, that's his name. Thank you. There you go. God, Lee, I couldn't think of that boy's name.
Yeah, I think they're dinosaurs, and I think eventually, as people wise up and they realize that both of them are full of it, and I think there will be I think that we will find better options to get.
I think we'll be a stronger nation if we come to an agreement that these people, and at the end of the day, are pushing forth a narrative, and that's what they will like more to divide us than pull us together.
Yeah, I don't know, and this is probably something I need to look into.
You look at it like this, me and you disagree, but we come together every day. It ain't like we.
Yeah.
So why do they put it like it's the other way?
Yeah, they should. You know what? That's probably a good answer. You know what they should do, Corey? They should consolidate their companies.
I think. I think Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon and Joe.
They should get together. They should get together and do something together. Man. Great show.
But boy, for real, I'll watch it though, because the crazy thing is that Tucker Carlson put out a video about Don Lemon possibly getting fired, and he got fired. It's like, that joke's just crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm hoping. I mean, like I said, the new wave is hopefully we'll get to a point where we're not being manipulated, and that
Wow,
it's better. It's better for everybody.
I think overall people. The problem is people. People are allowed to be manipulated. At the end of the day, people are lazy. People are more. They want to be fed information instead of going out there and really doing the research themselves. I tell people all the time, most of these things are out there for public consumption. It's the same thing CNN doing, and it's the same thing. I could put any clip up here to push forth an agenda. You know what I'm saying? I could do the same thing, clip it in a certain way and put it out here. At the end of the day, but I try to remain like I said at the beginning. I say, now this is not the whole clip, and they are putting a lot of stuff out there that is not actually showing it in its best light. Like where the woman got punched in the face. I was explaining y'all should look at the whole 17-minute video. Now I asked how many people in the chat actually typed it in and went to crime and law and looked at the whole 17-minute video. If none of y'all did it, y'all took that first video that was up there, is the reason why CNN is out here getting money, man. Because I'm telling you, that video that was up there is not accurately portraying exactly what happened. If you look at the whole 17 minutes, you'll get a different feeling from it.
Yeah, and Tawana, I definitely agree with you. I agree with you a little bit. No, I don't. I
You
don't
don't
know.
think the left dominates media?
Uh, I don't know.
You think conservatives dominate media?
No, I don't think. I don't know. I think he's pretty close to balance.
If you name another conservative media source other than Fox News,
I don't know. I don't know.
I can name MSNBC is heavily liberal. Doggone, and they own. You could tell because you could tell the owners. It's actual people that own these companies, and they go to these same the DNC when they have their things, and
mean like
who
the
they
Christian-
donate to.
You mean
They
like the Christian
donate to
broadcast?
people.
What about the Christian Broadcast Network?
Huh?
That's what about
Yeah,
Christian?
you can name that. That would be a conservative platform. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't. I
but
don't
that's
know.
not a. You at least agree that the Christian Broadcast Network is not a dominant media source.
No.
Do you think that's a dominant media source on the same platform as Fox News, CNN, and other these cable networks that hold power? Christian, what you say? Do they even have a channel?
Christian Broadcast Network?
Yeah, they got a channel.
Yeah.
What channel is it?
I don't know.
My point is that
I don't even know what channel.
I know
ESPN
CNN
is
is
on right now.
212.
Yeah, I don't know. But again, what I was going to say is, in the race to be right, the casualty is the race to be first. The casualty is right. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be right. You just got to be first.
Yeah.
And so what ends up happening is a lot of times is the way that we incentivize speed. It doesn't incentivize correction because people can just redact the statement later. Yeah, just get it out there.
What
and then
CBN
redact
stand for? I didn't know that's what CBN stand for. Christian Broadcast Network. And Kevin, are you saying ESPN is right leaning or left leaning?
You said what?
ESPN is right. I think ESPN is left leaning.
Yeah, I think ESPN is your boys.
Is what?
I think ESPN is your boys, man.
You think ESPN leans to the right? Have you ever seen ESPN platform Donald Trump? Or any Republican? Name Stephen A. Smith supporting any Republican. Name anybody that has been on ESPN in support of the Republican.
I don't know. I think they've been pretty neutral, Corey.
I could tell you exactly who on ESPN has been a conservative. I know all the conservatives that been on ESPN. Dan Orlasky is a conservative. And old boy that left Stephen A. Smith before because he went to Fox News. I think he's going to take Tucker Carlson's spot. I think that's who's going to take his place.
Yeah, Tiff, right, Tooch. You know, he's a heavy Republican.
Tooch.
Yeah, Tooch, he's a heavy Republican.
Lil Wayne.
Yeah, too.
Yeah.
I'm
just saying nobody's going to say that ESPN ESPN is right left. Like that statement is true. Everybody knows that. I mean, colleges are left leaning. It's just factual
He
things.
said Vice is left. I don't know.
Vice is left. I mean, most networks are left leaning, and you can look at. All you have to do is look at who own the company and look at do they go to the RNC or the DMC conventions, and it's quite easy to know, man. All these people are left leaning. Very.
I honestly, I don't. Again, I've said
Twitter was until Elon Musk took over, and that was the biggest pushback against Twitter being taken over by Elon Musk. Elon Musk is more conservative than liberal. If you look at any of his comments.
He's in the country music.
I would agree with that. The country music channel would have to be conservative. I would agree. With that. But let's dive into these comments, man. You want to read them out, man?
All right. Bam, bam, bam. That severance is going to be hefty.
For who? Which one?
For Lemon.
Lemon hot. Lemon is hot about his jump. Yeah. Lemon hot. They said that Tucker Carlson jump was mutual. Don Lemon put that joke out on Twitter like, nah. He is.
He didn't. And to be honest, we didn't cover the most important. Well, I ain't gonna say the most important, but well, 17-year employee deserved a little better than that.
What you mean?
I mean the way that it wasn't a topic.
It depends on who you believe.
Well, I believe
CNN has put out a statement that they disagree with Don Lemon. They didn't tell him. They asked him to come in to speak, but he put out the statement. That's what CNN says. So regardless, you want to believe Don Lemon. That's what I said about.
I think both of them. I think both of them is right. I think both of them is right because Don said that he heard it from his agent that he was being fired. So after he heard it from his agent, they probably said that we can come in here and discuss it. But at that point, the cat is out the bag. If his agent already knew, then the cat is out the bag. Nonetheless, he upset about it. And you know what? I'd be curious.
What I'm saying
Kevin,
is none of that's truth.
And with Kevin, if you, because you always be on the research, Kevin, I want to know how much Don was making per year. I got the gut feeling it wasn't as much as Tucker Carlson, but I'm gonna leave it at that.
You think Don made more than Tucker?
No, nowhere near.
I think nowhere.
I think nowhere. I think nowhere near it.
The revenue of their shows was way different. Tucker Carlson made way more money on his show. It's more view. You can look at the viewership. We can put it up there. The most watched person on news was Tucker Carlson. That's just slam fact. It's nobody in news media that was watched more than Tucker Carlson. Even though I disagree with everything he said, we can Google it right now and I'll share the screen. But I know that for a fact. Tucker Carlson is the most watched news media outlet. His show, I told you, made $77.5 million a year. Just his show alone.
I'm curious. I know Kevin gonna find it. I'm curious to know.
Kevin, who is the top? Who's number one? Who the GOAT right now in media? So
I'm gonna go through these comments while Kevin looking that up.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up.
He said the severance is gonna be he said it's gonna be heavy. Then y'all go talk about my president. Call him Creepy Joe. Y'all terrible. That's my guy until he's no longer my guy. Bernie, I also voted for Bernie. I think that Bernie would have been the best candidate. Who else? What was the next one? Oh, man, the comments coming in so fast. He said Dog got fired for being sassy. Y'all out of control here, man. He said when Don realized he was losing the debate, that's when he started complaining about the earpiece. Mr. Head, I do agree with you. I think that he got flustered. In it. But as Farrakhan said, I think that was just his passion talking. That was just his passion talking at the time. Yeah, and Tiff said that he kept cutting Don off. He did cut. You know what? They were communicating in a way in which the respect was not there. It's probably early in the episode the respect was lost. If the respect was not there, even when they first started the conversation, but they was talking to each other like the respect was gone.
Damn, bro. Sean Hannity makes $250,000 a year, bro.
You said who does?
Sean Hannity make $250,000 a year.
I don't know who that is.
Oh no, that's his net worth. He make $40 million a year.
Who does
Sean
that?
Hannity is the other dude on.
Oh,
Anderson Cooper is the under
okay.
him, and he's CNN. They are the top dudes at CNN and Fox News.
Okay. Carlson makes $15 million.
How much do what's the name make?
78? What was it? 77? How much was it? 77, 78?
$77 million a year.
He's 5 times better than that guy. 5 times.
Most people at CNN is up too. Up here.
Don.
Diane Sawyer too. CBS News. She's up there. Robin Roberts.
Don is married to a white man. Why couldn't he find a black man? Oh my God. I don't presume to understand. What he finds attractive in another man. I don't even presume to understand.
You didn't know Don Lemon was gay?
I ain't never cared. It never was relevant to the conversation to me. I still don't care right now. I do. I mean, like I said,
like a known thing. He makes it known.
Listen,
very, very public. That's the reason why I think he made those comments, because he got a little comfortable in what he was saying, because other females, and you know what I'm saying, he put himself in that light and he thought he could make those comments because it was like girl talk. But nah, it won't girl talk.
Yeah,
kind of like he was for real. I felt like he felt comfortable, but when that lady looked at him, he should have knew right there. You didn't see that lady eye. She's like, because she looking at herself like, I'm almost out of my 40s. So what you trying to say? I'm out of my prime?
But you know what? Isn't that kind of equivalent to the conversation?
I think majority. I'm comfortable saying majority of people are out of their prime when they pass 40. I think right now, male or female, I think your prime years are 40 or before. You're at your physical peak. At the end of the day, you start declining after that. I think his problem was saying that women, when overall people are out of their prime at like 40, he could have survived. But I know how it feels, because when I say LeBron James out of his prime, I get the same kind of whiplash. I get the same kind of attack. So Don, I'm with you on that one, brother.
Yeah,
you need to be able to tell when a person is out of their prime.
It's funny you said, like, the argument you just made was these women looked at him like, how dare you? Like he thought he was one of the girls where he could say something like that.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what the gentleman was saying to Don, and he thought that he could talk to Don like that, as if like he was one of the.
The difference is I don't agree with him not being able to make that argument. I told you that from the get go.
And I'm just saying it's exactly.
I told you my problem was I hate identity politics. I didn't never defend that. I agree with Don Lemon being fired because of that. If he's fired because of that, I think a person, if that's his opinion, that women are out of their prime at 40, at the end of the day, I think that argument is stupid, and I would just attack that argument. But I don't think Don Lemon should have lost his job because of that. You never asked me my thoughts on it.
That's what I said. But that was in February, so I don't think that was it. Like I think it was this last.
And another thing, I think overall news media is trying to. At the end of the day, if people are stupid enough to believe these things that people are saying, then at the end of the day, I ain't gonna protect people from people.
No, I mean, I definitely.
I'm smart enough to listen to it and see it as stupid, so everybody else should be able to look at it and see it as stupid.
No, I mean,
you don't.
Listen,
you want to believe
that
women are out of their prime at that age?
Corey, I'm gonna tell you one of the things I'm not even ashamed to even say this, that I learned from Donald Trump. I remember when he said fake news.
Mm.
It wasn't a practical thought in my head that the things that I was listening to for the news could be untrue. I never really thought about it.
He was the first person to coin that phrase, and it did change.
It sounded when he said it, we laughed at him. What is he talking about? Fake news. And fast forward to now, you're seeing that almost $1 billion worth of fake news right here. I mean, like, so he's
the biggest thing. They started putting out fact checkers. The news media would put out fact checkers, but they placing their opinion on what is actually fact.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, I think that what these companies are realizing is they're realizing that the population has lost faith. the population has lost faith in their ability to give credible news. And I think that these two people being fired is representation of that. Minus the other thing, because at the end of the day, he could have still cost the company if they still thought that he was profitable, they would still hire him.
You know what the
But
truth is? They just gonna put two more people in their place to do the
yeah,
exact same thing.
yeah, that's the truth.
To
That's the
do the
truth.
exact same thing.
But hopefully they will vet them to they will vet them more wisely to where
Overall,
they
that
won't.
business is dying. The truth is,
That's what I said. It's a
no,
dinosaur.
it's the reason why the truth is this. The reason why they talk about Donald Trump all day in news media because he sells more than anything. Whether you agree with that or not, Donald Trump sells. Putting his name on the face of your joint, people gonna watch. They're gonna tune in to hear about him. And they, at the end of the day, CNN has never made more money than when Donald Trump was president.
Man, Kev, listen. That comment you just made about AI at 20. That's why I said the other day. I'm telling you, I think a lot of the information you get, whether it be the news, whether it be, I think, that
Donald Trump 2024.
there will be a religious AI by 2026 also, that will be interpreting the Bible and putting it out on some type of news platform. Right now on Twitter, you can follow at AI, and you can have them give a response to any single tweet out there. And right now, and these tweets are actually pretty good. They're clever. They're like, this AI is improving extremely fast. Everything that we see is dinosaurs. Everything is dinosaurs. I would love to be able to do a podcast on AI at some point, but I kind of, I've tasked someone that I trust and respect to learn some things, and hopefully there'll be a
Yeah,
guest speaker
the
for that.
truth is, I I would love to do it too, but I really have to be very, very educated on the fact of like what's going on, what's been done, all those things. But I mean,
It's a new wave, man.
we we differ in like opinion with. I think an AI can say a lot of things about the Bible. But I don't think anybody can. You can guess like what we believe. Most people in society have an opposite thought on what Christians actually believe. Most people in society think Christians believe a certain thing, and it's just don't. Like most people, if I go through and ask majority of people what it means to be saved, they'll say go to church.
I want to listen. Listen. I
Let me
get
ask you, Ham, what is salvation?
salvation is when you accept Jesus Christ in your heart and believe Him as your Lord and Savior.
Boy, that boy
But
knows some stuff, man.
but
There we go.
this,
My man.
this is what I'm going to say. This is what I am going to say to you. The same way that you, the same way
Most
that
Christians
you,
haven't read the Bible.
but check this out, right? And goodness gracious, Jimmy done dropped 56 points. Sheesh. I think that
For real.
your ability to interpret, and to digest a book and send it back out is incredible. But I think that if a software could interpret the information like this, like these AIs are going to be able to,
What I'm saying, you're taking out of
I think
context the spirit. You don't believe in the spirit then. You
no,
don't believe
no,
in no spirit.
you didn't even hear where I was going with it.
Uh,
I'm saying that strictly, if you put the he said he about to ask his AI, strictly if you put the Bible into something
yeah,
that
I
can
can't
digest it,
can't
if you put it into something that can digest it and they can spit it out, yeah, it's going to not have the spirit to it, but it's going to have the context of the literal book without human interpretation. And
mhm.
with that being said, I believe that will cause a lot of issues. There's going to be a lot of issues with that. A
Yeah,
whole
but
lot
if
of
you do
issues.
not have the spirit, what is that? What is that? I'm trying to tell you, unless you like at the end of the day, and I'm pretty sure when Todd said that, if it does not have the Holy Spirit, it has no power. Because at the end of the day, I could stand up there and say a lot of things, but you assessing me standing up there and telling you something is the reason why it's so believable, is the reason why other people identify when I preach it. No, it's what live, and that's what I'm saying, like this scripture right here. When I in the AI will have to, let's say when I quote this scripture right there, His spirit bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. If children and heirs of God, and joint heirs with Christ Jesus. If so be we suffer with him, that we may be also reigned together. So when I quote that scripture, most Christians know what that scripture means. That AI will have to identify what I mean by that. How do they know? How did I know how to use that scripture in that place right there? Why did I do that?
Mm.
Why?
Listen, I definitely understand what you're coming from.
Yeah, that's what
I
I'm
am
saying.
definitely understand.
His spirit bears
I'm,
witness with our spirit
I
that
am
we are
saying
the children of God. How did I know to put that in?
what I'm saying to you is I'm not taking away from the Holy Spirit. What I am
Okay,
saying that is, if you put in a Harry Potter book,
there you go.
if you put in a Harry Potter book and put it
Mm-hmm.
inside the AI and
Mm-hmm.
ask AI, what did Harry Potter do for this? It's going to give you a direct answer based off the context of the book. Now, I'm not saying that at this point it's right, it's wrong, it's this or that. I am saying strictly when you ask a fact based question, it's going to give you a fact based answer based off the content. Even depending, I mean, so and that's where I think that,
Do
in
you
my
believe the
opinion,
Bible?
absolutely, I believe,
So if
I
I
absolutely
told you
believe.
the Bible said the spirit is truth, right? So without the spirit, can it be true?
I would have to ask the AI.
You have to ask the AI.
I'm just joking with you, man.
Without the spirit, can it be truth?
Without the spirit, can it be truth? Without the spirit, can it be truth?
When Jesus Christ said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, no man comes unto the Father but by me. I am the way, the truth, and the life.
Hmm.
Truth being one of them, right? Without the spirit of Christ, can it be truth? Must be a lie.
Hmm. Hmm. You know what? That's a very good question, man. And to be honest with you, if I could package up the truth and sell the truth, a lie might bad first.
Hey,
I don't know the answer to that, Corey. That's a very deep question, and I guess that leaves us something to discuss later, man. We got anything left on this ticker, man?
hey, hold on, man. Shouts out to my boy Jeremy, man. I play Call of Duty with her the whole time, man. It say define spirit, and I define spirit when we get on right now, man, because he know right now. I told him we'll be on as soon as the podcast go off, so I talk to this guy the whole time.
All right, man. So go ahead. What you got, man? Let's close this thing out.
Hey, appreciate y'all tuning in again. As always, I appreciate y'all support. Do me a favor, either here or here. I'm pretty sure it's a like and subscribe button. Please press that thing for us, man. Help us out. Send these things into the airwaves. At the end of the day, man, someone out there that needs to be reached by us. Join the family. Reach out. Let's make this family bigger. Thank y'all again for tuning in, man. Love y'all.
Oh man, I am going to say thank you, thank you. The cool thing about this show, this debate show, this is that there's different opinions and there's a place on either side for you to get on. And bring your friends and they can do it also. Love you guys and love yours. We out.
All right. I was reading the comment. My bad.